I would want to know from you that, in terms of course curricula, everybody has said that business schools, management schools, general management creating institutions have not kept pace with what the changes happening in the world. For example, contactless. For example, digital tools being enhanced, digital infrastructure being enhanced. We have not taught business continuity planning. We haven't taught disaster management. What are the changes in the curricula you believe post-corona? Of course, we need to keep a lot of things because they are still very relevant. But what do you think are the changes required post-corona in the curriculum of business schools, especially at IRMA? What are the changes that you brought in?
Well, we have to maintain a balance between sustainability and equitable socio-economic development. You'll see a major chunk of the students, they might be coming from different parts of the country where we might not have the same level of connectivity or the same speed of connectivity. So we have to prepare ourselves to become more resilient, to become more adaptive to this kind of unexpected situations. Again, pandemic, we never plan. It's very difficult to plan. It's very difficult to predict or anticipate anything. So how as managers, how as students, how as household, or how as citizens, as and when the situation arises, we will come up to the occasion and overcome the challenges, because that's the most important thing. How am I going to overcome the challenges and at the same time keep pace with the vision, the mission of the curriculum, the objective of the curriculum, make myself marketable, and should not feel that I did not acquire some other skill which would be relevant for me the coming days. I think so. We have to have at least keep certain percentage of weightage to risk management. We have to keep inculcate or include some of the components to group. How are we going to help each other during pandemic times, or that is something more important, because again you will see most of us are locked down and we are staying at home. The mental well-being, because as social animals, always we we always feel comfortable with our friends, with our peers, with our co-workers. So these are certain things which we have to. One, I would say the most important thing is how am I going to take care when there are risks. So risk management, sustainability, and coming mental wellness, mental well-being of the students and the community as a whole. And how are we going to help at the time of needs? Because we have to reach out to the vulnerable section of the society. Because if we don't care them, who is going to care them? So this fellow feeling is also something important which we have to include in the curriculum.
Absolutely, Dr. Dash. And in fact, I was talking to a leading edutech platform player, content player, and they said the top courses on their edutech platform, and which is a huge 10 million plus. So it's a slice of what's happening in higher education and what is the skilling courses. So of course, coding, Python, all those were top 10. But communication, mindfulness, well-being, all these courses were in the top 7 courses. So clearly happiness, people are, you talked about complete well-being in a holistic manner. I think that's what's needed. Now, Institute of Rural Management, Anand, and I must say to all of viewers, I applied to IRMA when I was younger in 1994, but I didn't get through to, I applied possibly in 1994, and I did not get through to IRMA. So it's a very good college, and I keep saying people like me got into MDI because the quality control at MDI was weak. I'm from the 94-96 batch, and the first batch of PGPM from MDI. But the fact is, the point I'm trying to make is that IRMA is really a very good institution. Of course, in its specific domain, it's the numero uno and the most differentiated and deep institute but also overall when we talk of the pantheon of business schools, IRMA has a very good ranking among students as well as practitioners and recruiters and leaders. So I want to ask Dr. Dash, what are the changes you are bringing about at IRMA, which kind of matches what you just spoke to us about well-being, about technology, about being able to talk about risk management. So what are you doing at IRMA to be able to kind of build the IRMA of the future so that IRMA is relevant 5-10 years from now to Dr. Dash? I think we lost you. He's rejoined. Yes, Dr. Dash, my short question was, no problem, it happens with technology, you're back here. So that my short question was, what is it that you are doing to be able to build the IRMA future so that IRMA is futuristic? Because every educational institution is trying to imbibe new facets, if I may say. For example, I am Indore tied up with IT Indore to offer a joint course. So what is IRMA doing to stay ahead? How are you building the IRMA of future? You'll have to unmute yourself, Dr. Dash.
Yeah. Like any other academic institute, the challenges are, of course, are going to be academic, like availability of quality resources. It could be human resources. It could be the textbook materials, which are going to be India-centric. The major challenge in Indian education or the managed, particularly in the professional degrees, the textbooks are Western-oriented textbooks. The examples, the cases that we read in the textbooks are more aligned to the Western countries rather than Indian context. So I think finding relevant textbook, where we are going to be, because India-centric is something which is missing, because you'll see the hallmark of our ancient Indian education system was moral, spiritual, and cultural values. We always, it used to enable deep understanding of human values and used to give importance to character and integrity. So I think that's the major challenge with most of the education institute in India, and IRMA is no exception to that. So we have to come up, identify appropriate textbooks, identify appropriate materials, which are going to be cases and references which are going to be, through which we can inculcate the Indian value system and integrity, character, and recruiting the human resource. Because I think, again, most of the technical institutions, we are struggling with the human resource. Most of the institutes, we are shortage of faculties. So identify, recruiting, encouraging, motivating young people.
But Dr. Dash, if we are talking of a hybrid model, a virtual model, classrooms through technology, today the faculty, why does the faculty need to be at the IRMA campus? They can be in Delhi, they can be in Bombay, they can be in any part of the world or any part of the country, and possibly you should have more access to faculty and world-class teaching leaders more than ever before. So yeah. I think Corona should be a blessing in that sense.
I completely agree with you. I think this opened our minds and eyes. I think we need not hire full-time faculties, as you rightly told. We have to form consortiums. We have to rely on resources of other institutions. It's not only make use of the faculties who are available in other management institute or foreign countries, or wherever possible, even our faculties can extend, give required help to other institutions. So this has, this pandemic again, at least allowed us to think in that direction. So we are expanding our thinking in that process. How are we going to collaborate with other institutions, like-minded institutes, and make use of a pool of resources? We can combine always the resources and use from the pool. So using technologies, better technology, virtual technologies. I think with the 4G, 5G, which is going to come soon, we can replicate a actual classroom to a great extent. Of course, it can't be 100%, but to a great extent, it is possible. So whatever limitations we face in not having the classroom, we can at least try to address the challenges through other modes. Like we can even tie up with the field level experts or industries. So where they can go to their industries wherever the students are located and can learn experiential learning. So along with the teaching, classroom teaching or virtual teaching, we can align with the industries. We can align with the field leaders. We can align with practitioners in the field and make use of their resources, their expertise to fill the gap. So that is one thing which we have been discussing, and even involving students in live projects, because managers can't be made in classrooms. So unless you send it to the field, unless you involve them in the live projects, because that's the mechanism or instrument through which they are going to learn it very fast, quick learning. So that is another thing through internship projects. Of course, we have this in place, but again, we have to tweak our internship projects or industry academic relationship to cope up with the pandemic situation. So we do not know how many more months or.
I hope not long. I
wish so.
But I want to ask you, Dr. Dash, one question. You've seen one whole year of Corona. What was its impact on placements? Food as a sector, rural, dairy have only grown in pandemic times. Food as a sector has grown, right? So
yeah.
What was the impact on placements at IRMA of the pandemic? And second, have you seen any impact on the intake of students? Because I don't think there should be any, because IRMA is highly coveted and wanted by students and professionals. But give us a sense of what has happened in the last 12 months. I'd like to know from the horse's mouth.
Yes. The campus placement program at IRMA, we try to, aim is to provide meaningful and challenging career opportunity to our graduates. So we have invited variety of organizations from the business sector, public sector undertaking, state, central government, NGOs, multilateral agencies. So they all have participated in our placement. And say thank to our student representatives and our alma maters and other well-wishers, we could able to place 100% like any other normal years. Almost 100, only 7 students who opted out, of course, otherwise they would have also been placed. So it did not affect our placement. But unfortunately, the only thing which I would say, in normal years, what generally we experience a growth in the pay package, that we did not experience. The pay package average and median package is
the average CPC did not grow.
It did not grow.
Grows every year.
Yeah, so generally we expect 5 to 10% growth in our packages. So that we could not, of course, we understand again because of the pandemic and because of the low volume in most of the sectors. But I think otherwise people got placed and they are going to go very soon and join start their career in their respective organizations.
Mr. Nagendra Prasad has asked you a question, and possibly he's an alumni. That's what I sense from his question. He says, "Dear Director, how are you planning to involve IRMA alumni in teaching, internship provisions, placements, and governance of IRMA?" See, the role of alumni is very important, Mr. Nagendra Prasad. I am an alumnus of MDI. Now I'm on the board of MDI. I'm the first PGP alumnus to be on the board of MDI. And, I'm very actively involved with my alumni. And I must say that the role of alumni is very important. I think it's as much as on the alumni to participate and be proactive about it as it is on the institution. So I don't think the director should make an effort. I mean, director should do an outreach and he will answer that. But I think the role of the alumni in being proactive is equally important. Dr. Dash, your response.
Yes, you rightly told they are our flag bearers and they are, we survive because of them. So if the institute gets any recognition, it is because mostly it is because of the performance of the alumni. and for the growth of any organization. I think we cannot think of a strategy without involving alumni or without involving our students. So we always invite them in whatever form they want to contribute, be it in teaching or be it in offering live project to our current batch of students, or counseling them, mentoring them, or helping them in what, or even nowadays, I think incubation is something which we are promoting, startups, so they can help our students, those with innovative ideas. They can help them to convert their ideas into products and take advantage of that. And so we always invite alumni, and even say every month we have invited lectures where we request our alumni to come and talk to the students. Of course, the yearly Milan, after 20 years, they come back and spend 2-3 days, which is called Milap. But beside these Milap, of course, we are open 365 days, 24/7. So anytime any alumni wants to come and spend time with us, either for a week or 10 days or 1 term or 2 term, or always we welcome them, because their experiences we want to make use of to our advantage.
Dr. Dash, what Mr. Nagendra Kumar was asking was more in terms of college having a formal process of kind of involving you, talking about Milap. There is Purushottam Wankade who's saying, "Hello, sir. I'm planning to select the shortlist in IRM, IRMA, PRM this year. I'm very interested in policy making and its complications across the sector or region, and aspire to join UN Council. Can you please share a thought on the same?" So there is something called IRMA PRM, right?
Yeah, that's the flagship program.
Shortlisted in it. I mean, that's what I believe from his question. If the sentence is not very clear, but he says, "Hello, sir. I'm planning to select the shortlist," and he basically means that he's applied and he's possibly in the shortlist, and he's considering joining IRMA PRM. So, what's your advice to him?
Well, the unique strength of the PRM, that's a flagship program of IRMA, Postgraduate Rural Management. The institute lies in its ability to blend the development concerns with the management aptitude. I think what I understand from his question is more interested into impact assessment of policies. So I think through our mix the curriculum, unique courses as well as framework that we fieldwork segment is there, which is again unique to IRMA. So every student, they have to go and spend 2 months in some rural areas and rural villages, and they understand, even they do a scoping study, what is lacking and how we can help the rural areas to grow. I think we have a lot of opportunities for the students to do policy relevant impact analysis, because Government of India has introduced a lot of flagship programs, be it the Mahatma Gandhi Rozgar Yojana or Awas Yojana. So all these, because we are helping the government in making assessment, what works and what does not work, and in what context something is going to work, determinants of the success of a particular program. Our faculties are involved, a lot of projects are going on, live projects are going on. The students are given an opportunity to get involved in these live projects. I think this is one of the places where we always work with government in analyzing all the social programs. So he will definitely enjoy the courses, the opportunities that are available at IRMA if he decides to join.
Thank you so much. Now, I want to go beyond IRMA and focus on the challenges in rural management education. What do you think are the challenges and opportunities in the rural management education, especially rural as we used to know is no longer rural? Yes. I would say, rural is become progressive. It is improving as the highways. America is rich because America has roads.
Yeah,
that's what famously a president of America said. Indian villages will be rich, not in terms of rich in terms of money, but in terms of culture, in terms of economic development overall. When we build roads, highways, and this government is going at a very fast pace to build that. So the nature of rural India is changing. That's the point I'm trying to make. And hence, what are the challenges and opportunities in rural management education in India?
Well, opportunities are, again, I would say plenty. As you rightly told, it's growing, and the thought process of the government has also changed, and a major chunk of the development programs are taking place in the rural India. So I think therefore we need to understand, whenever the government is introducing any program, the major question is going to be who is going to do that and how it is going to be done. Right? Unless we have professional graduates who are going to understand the situation, understand the context, and unpack the problem. Because because government is going to give you one statement, one policy statement, but it is the responsibility of the graduates to unpack it and then find out the strategies or solutions to meet the objective. So be it the infrastructure, be it the agribusiness, or be it supply chain, or be it operation, because even financing, if you take, a lot of opportunities are available in the rural India. And be it marketing, I think 50 to 60% of the market opportunities now lie in the rural areas. So unless we understand how the rural consumers behave, unless we understand how the rural investors are interested to invest, what is the risk taking ability, and how are we going to map their risk to investment opportunities, or be it, if you take the agribusiness, how am I going to integrate all the supply chains? Because the major problem in India is the wastage. The farmer is not getting the right price, even though he was supposed to get it, because it's getting lost in between the transitions. So how are we going to integrate so that the products or the produces of the rural area can reach to the urban areas or peri-urban areas with less time and with minimum damage or proliferages or leakages? So I think now in 2021, 2021 and going forward, when we want the economy to be a 5 trillion economy by 24-25, I think opportunities are plenty. And given the amount of the efforts which are being taken by not only by the government, by the corporates, a lot of corporates are now coming to the rural areas. Development agencies are coming to rural areas. FDI is coming to the rural areas. I think it's like any other sector, like any other professional program. The rural management program also has a major or I would say opportunities are going to be great coming years.
Thank you, Dr. Dash. There is a question. There are some specific questions. I'll take some. Mohana Priya Srinivasan is asking, what is the scope for opportunities in development consulting after an MBA with IRMA? How would it give me an edge over someone with an MA in social science courses like development studies or policies?
Yeah. So basically, the students are going to get opportunities, because you'll see most of the graduates or the companies that come, or the students who are absorbed in key positions in organizations operating diverse areas, agribusiness, rural marketing, consulting, technology, supply chain management, banking and finance, microfinances, rural development, project management, IT,
supply chain,
all the supply chain,
equity, venture capital.
Yeah, and just ask to answer the specific
FMCG companies, sir, the food companies, the Amuls, the Nestle's.
Yeah. So all are now the multinational companies.
Yes.
So all these cooperatives. I think just to answer the specific questions she asked about comparing a program from TIS or a program from any other development studies. Here it's a blend of social science courses or development issues, as well as professional courses like management courses. So here it's an integration of rural development challenges, issues, plus the professional way of addressing or strategizing your programs. So, because even the institute where I was earlier, of course, I'm all still associated with IIT Madras, where we have a program on development studies. So there, what happens, we emphasize more on theories, development theories. Whereas in rural management, we not only give emphasis to theory, but also the practice and the experiences and how to resolve it going to the fate. So that is what is going to give you an edge. And when you do a program in rural management is a specialization. It does not mean you can even compete with any other management program, be it from any other IIMs or universities or NDI or XLRI. So we are equally competent to compete with any other professional MBA programs. The only difference of the rural management is the specialization is rural management. But the theories will be applicable, be it rural management or be it service management or be it operation management. The theories are the same.
I think you answered the question. And again, Simran Gupta is asking, how would you compare it to the IMA FABM program?
Well, I would, because they are two different kind of programs. It will become like apple and orange, because the mission or vision of an institute like IRMA is to serve the unserved community or the rural population of the country, or to give more emphasis to the rural population. So yes, we have certain advantages when we talk about IRMA as a rural management institute. IIMs, they have their own objectives, missions and visions. The only thing which we say is the theories are the same. It depends to the student how much you absorb and where you are going to use. But otherwise, the sky is the limit. So it depends how much you can learn and unlearn and use.
Thank you so much. The many questions, Suraj Shirsagar is asking, what are the opportunities available at IRMA for a PRM student developing his own business idea into a reality? He wants to be an entrepreneur. So, how can it help?
Right. So we have a cell which is encouraging startups. Like it's part of Make in India and Startup India. So we have also got associated with the initiatives of the government of India, and we have a group of faculty members and students who are taking care of these startups. So any student who comes with an idea, so from the ideation stage too, because we have also associated with industry and with other leaders, so where we get continuous support and mentorship. So I think if a student comes with the idea, we are going to enable or help. The platform will be provided to convert the idea into a product or service, a process which is going to, so they can start their own ventures. I think going forward, that is what entrepreneurship is going to be, something which most of the organizations or education institute are going to focus on, because that is what we are going to we are looking for, not seeking employment, but giving employment. I think, therefore, with that in mind, we are also working towards how to encourage, motivate students to convert, if they are the risk-taking ability, take up entrepreneurship as a challenge.
So let me take a couple of other questions. I had my own, but I'll take the audience. Arun Polkampally is asking, what are the career prospects for IRMA students? I've been shortlisted for PGDM, RM. How good are the prospects when compared to other V schools? I think he's already answered that, Arun, saying it's a top-notch business school. You can specialize in RM, which is rural management, but it's a top-notch, it's general management school with a specialization. Of course, Dr. Dash can add to it, but he's already answered that question. Manish Sidhu, you're asking, can we expect any opportunities in HRM from IRMA after PRM? Why not? Dr. Dash?
Yes, that's very much possible. So as I told you, I think the opportunities are plenty. People can diversify. People can It's again a umbrella program. So suppose somebody wants to specialize in IT in rural management, or HR in rural management, or in finance in rural management, or marketing in rural management. So rural management is a umbrella again. So people, depending on their choices, depending on their aptitude, they can specialize whatever they want, because we have vast basket of electives. Through the electives, they can identify the set of electives which is going to suit their need or desire or interest.
Thank you so much. You answered that. There's a question from Aishwarya. I'm assuming, Aishwarya, you're an IT professional from your question. You're asking, if an IT professional wants to shift stream and join IRMA, will it be a tough journey for them as compared to other professionals? Let me give you an answer. See, if you're an IT professional joining a business school, you're starting afresh. Of course, if you take a lateral placement and if all things work out, it should help you, both in terms of the kind of job you do and in terms of salary package. But yes, you leave a job, you start afresh. So in some sense, you are a fresh MBA with some job experience. So Dr. Das will answer it from here on, but that's my view.
Yes, I think say there will not be any disadvantage, because when any MBA program, of course, we motivate, encourage, or we want students from diverse field. It's not that it is going to help a particular field, whether you're an engineer or whether you are a commerce student or science graduate or agriculture student or veterinary. So I think when we take student, we encourage student from all these possible areas, so that there is going to be cross learning. So that is, the more the diverse the class, the better is going to be the learning process. And coming to if you come with some specialization, you have certain advantages, of course. If you want to take your specialization and again integrate with the marketing, or integrate with the finance, or again supply chain, you stand a better chance, right? Because you will have a dual advantage, I would say.
So he's answered, Aishwarya. Dr. Das has answered. If any one of you have queries on career, I went to an engineering school, went to a business school, worked for 4 years, started my first company, Exchange for Media, 7 years back, acquired Business World, and I built it to a multi-platform media company. I understand careers. You can mail me on anurag.batra@businessworld.in. And if I have a specific answer, I'll address that. Of course, every Wednesday, you can join the BW Education Wednesday Wisdom to understand where the education domain is going, what the leaders are thinking, and specifically address your questions to them. Keep reading bweducation.com, which is our education magazine. You can subscribe to it also, or read businessworld.in, which is our daily website on the business domain, and the magazine comes out regularly. But let me take a question from Praveen Venkat Annam. He's asking Dr. Das, why are most schools increasing fees despite lots of cost cutting happening due to lockdown? What difference would it be doing an online MBA from a reputed institute? Why an online course from, say, somebody like Upgrad? I have a definitive view on it, but let Dr. Das answer, and then I'll supplement that.
Most of the major chunk of the fee, because actually the establishment cost is very high in these education institutes. And suppose if there is government, because these institutions, they are with no government support. And therefore, all the self-sustaining education institutions, the cost is going to be relatively high. Suppose if you take the case of IRMA, it's not a profit-making organization. So it's a self-sustaining organization. So in order to retain good faculties, in order to provide better infrastructure, in order to provide better curriculum and other facilities, student facilities, recreation facilities, this cost is, suppose if you take all this cost into account, the cost is relatively higher only. Now, suppose if you say, government institutions, the cost is relatively less, because government is taking care of all the cost. So tomorrow, if the government say removes the subsidies or asks the institutions to raise their own money, the cost is going to be transferred to the student.
Thank you so much, Dr. Das. You answered the question, but let me say, Praveen, these are, and I mean, I have tremendous respect for Upgrad. I think what they do makes a difference, or other online platforms, and I think they have a huge role to play. But I don't think you can substitute, and I'm using the word substitute. I think at least today, I would say online platforms can supplement. They cannot substitute what you learn in a business school by being on the campus, by what the kind of placements you get, so on and so forth. So I don't think it's a either or question. It's an and question. It's not an either or question. It's an and. You cannot substitute. You can only supplement. I hope I answered your question. I have a definitive view in it, and I'm in the industry, so I can say that emphatically. Upgrad has a role to play. They're doing an excellent job, but I don't think you can substitute. So, there is a huge advantage of doing it from a reputed institute, doing it on campus. So, really, I would want to say that. Pepin Susai has asked, what is the rural in rural management?
Well, the rural in rural management is just a nomenclature now. It's because we have been saying that rural is no longer good. So suppose if everything is going to be urban, but still I think in any there is going to be a disparity. So this rural is basically to address the challenges, issues of the unattended section of the society, or underprivileged section of the society. So when we say in economic sense, it is a rural. But suppose
I hope it's been answered, Pepin. I want to take two more questions and keep to my time. Short, direct questions and direct answer. Kunal Jadhav is asking, I'm having 3 months from now till I join a B school. Are there some things I should do before joining a B school? Dr. Das, first you, and then I'll give my own.
Well, always one can hone your skills like communication skills and aptitude, analysis skills, because these are some of the things which are going to help you understanding the courses better. Because the communications is something which is more important nowadays. Of course, it was important earlier as well, but when we say communication, it's not just spoken, but also written communications.
Absolutely, I agree. Work on your communication, read a lot, read business books, read biographies, consume business media, whether it's Business World or other business media. Read a lot. I would say, if I had to say one thing. Bhushan Supare is asking, are there any lateral placements? I'm assuming he's saying, are there any lateral placements at IRMA? If yes, how do they work? Also, Tanish Kumar is asking, what are healthcare opportunities from IRMA? He means after IRMA. So these are...
Sorry, healthcare opportunities, or is it working in the healthcare sector?
I guess, the question is not very clear, but I guess it means working in the healthcare.
Yes, like any development sector, yes, one can definitely pursue their career in implementation, because we train people as say change managers. So we train people how to execute. So for assessment, suppose almost all the organizations or development agencies, they have consultant who do assessment. So I think if somebody wants to work as a project manager in health sector, there are opportunities. If somebody wants to assess the policy implications in the health sector, there are opportunities. And if somebody wants to work as a change manager or integrating health with other sectors, donor agencies, they can always take it up. Project management is again something who are interested in project management. They can also work in the health sector, because health sector also we do run a lot of projects.
Thank you. I think if you've taken all the questions, I want to ask you my last question and let you go. I think it's been a very interactive session. There's been huge participation from the audience, very large number of audience. There were between 60 to 70 people on the Zoom call and about 250 on the Twitter feed and another 200 on Facebook. So 60 odd on Zoom after 1 year of Zoom. I think we've got 15 questions. I've taken 9 of them. So it's clearly Your session evoked interest, I must say. So, congratulations, Dr. Umakant. It shows that IRMA is an institution that people are interested in. They want to talk to you. They have queries. They want to engage with you. And I would say, Suraj Shivsagar is asking me, can infotainment documentary dialogue substitute reading? They can add, but reading is reading. Reading helps you internalize. And after reading, if you write, it becomes what I call ingrained knowledge. It becomes part of your subconscious. So reading is reading. Of course, there's value of watching infotainment, documentaries. I love doing that, but I don't think they can replace reading. Maybe you're talking to somebody on the wrong side of the age, so a little old-fashioned in his way. So, Dr. Dash, I just want to let you go by asking my last question. If you had to predict what will happen to the higher education domain in the next 3 to 5 years, what would your predictions be?
Well, again, the scope is broadening. The importance, of course, is rising. I think you'll see again, whether it is government services or whether it is the private services, as the economy is growing and when with the aspiration of becoming 5 trillion economy by 2024, 526, the demand for professionals are going to go up, and in order to catch, even with the Atmanirbhar initiatives, and because we want to self-sufficient. So that scope and opportunities are going to be, plenty. If we want to become the leader, economic leader, power in the world, we have to, that is the only advantage which we have, human or capital. So I think the opportunities will be available, and it is going to grow at I would say exponentially in coming years, because not only we need for the Indian economy, but also the demand for other sectors, other external sectors are increasing. So therefore, I don't see there is in the near future, the demand is going to be stagnant either. So it is going to grow at a faster rate, and with the directions, with the policies that are coming into, with the new education policy, you will see again there is going to be a transformation. So it is going to take us to the next level. So we have to integrate to the aspirations of again you will see the citizens' aspirations, educate the young scholars or young generations. Their aspiration has changed. So we have to match up to the aspiration. We have to integrate the opportunities with the aspiration of the people. So that's where the education is going to play a major role.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dash. We wish you all the luck in your endeavor to create future leaders for our growing economy, for our rural economy, and leaders that make an impact on the global stage and not just in India. We wish you luck. Thank you for this engaging session and your very real answers to those questions. Congratulations to all the audiences for being such a participative audience. I hope I was able to do justice to your questions. And if there are any more questions, we are on anurag.batra@businessworld.in, and we can try and get those questions answered through our team or through our panel of experts. So keep reading businessworld.in, keep taking the magazine from stands, keep reading BW Education, and we'll be back next Wednesday again on another edition of the BW Education Wednesday Wisdom. Thank you so much, Dr. Dash, and all the best for what you do. Thank you
very much, Dr. Batra, and your team. Might say, have a pleasure. Thank you very much.